In the near future, a German biotech company named Aeon has a unique service. This service lets people give away some years of their life and transfer them to another person if they're a good match. People short on money can sell years from their life, which makes them age faster. But those who buy these years look younger. Mostly, only poor people do this, hoping to make their life better. Aeon says it's a gift, and many migrants use it as the only way to make money. Aeon gives special attention to famous people, scholars, and recently, Nobel Prize winners. Max is the best at getting people to give their years. Today, he's trying to persuade a young boy from a migrant family. He tells the boy that he sold 5 years of his life for college. He also says that the boy's family might not get legal status, but selling years could help them start a business. Max gets the boy to agree. Going back to Aeon, Max wears a coat because people outside don't like what Aeon does and throw things at the workers. Inside, he's given an award for his good work. Aeon's boss, Sophie Thyssen, talks about how great their work is. But in a clinic, a man pretending to be a worker starts shooting people. He leaves a mark, an A, on the wall. This man is from the Atom Group, who doesn't like Aeon and wants to stop them. Their leader, Lilith, sends a video warning of more attacks. Max goes home and has a special dinner with his wife, Elena. They dream of having children and get close before their meal. The next day, they visit Elena's family. Her dad makes a joke about buying years but doesn't like Max's job. Elena stops a fight from starting. But when they come back home, they find their apartment on fire. All their money and things are gone. The insurance won't help because they think Elena left a candle burning. She says she didn't, but that's what the report says. Things get even tougher for Max when he finds out that Elena had promised 40 years of her life to the bank as security for a loan, something she hadn't told him. Max wants to give his years instead, but they don't accept because there's no match for his years. This surprises Max since he had donated before. But he learns the person who got his years has died. When leaving the bank, the police grab Elena to stop her from running away. Max tells them he'll find another way to get the money and goes to Sophie for help. She says she'll try to help. But Sophie has a meeting with the company's big bosses who are unhappy. They don't want to waste time checking DNA matches. They think Sophie cares too much. A few days go by, and Sophie doesn't help. Max is worried and goes to see Elena at the clinic. They don't let him see her. Max tries to get to her but is stopped by Kaya and her team. Meanwhile, Elena is being prepared to give away her years. A lawyer reads her the rules, and she gets scared. They calm her down with a shot, and she sleeps while they take 38 years from her and give them to someone else. When Elena wakes up, she looks much older. Max takes her home, but she doesn't speak. As days go by, Elena's body becomes old and weak. She doesn't like seeing herself in the mirror. Max tries to be there for her, but things are hard. One day, Max is told he got a new job at the company with more pay. But he doesn't care now. He tries to talk to Sophie, but she looks younger and ignores him. Back home, Max tells Elena he loves her, but she feels it's just pity. When Max goes out, Elena feels pain and finds out she's bleeding. Meanwhile, Max meets a girl in the park who tries to sell him illegal stuff. He says no. Later, at the hospital, Max learns Elena was going to have a baby, but lost it because her old body couldn't handle it. Elena decides to live with her parents and leaves Max. Max says he'll fix things, but her dad is angry and blames Max. Max remembers the girl from the park. He thinks she knows something. He finds her and asks about illegal age changes. She tells him about a secret group in Lithuania. He gets a phone and fake IDs to go there. Max believes Sophie knows something and plans to find out by catching her. For some days, Max keeps a close eye on Sophie. One day, he spots her by herself in a graveyard. With no one around, he goes towards Sophie, who looks younger now. She screams and tries to run, but Max is faster and uses a taser on her. He then marks a grave with an to blame it on the Atom Group. Next, Max gets Elena from where she works, asking her to trust his plan. They head to an old building where Max has a van and a tied-up Sophie. Elena is scared and they argue, but Max says it's their only chance for a normal life and a family. At the graveyard, Kaya and Nowak are trying to figure out what happened. Using security footage, Nowak traces the car Max used. Even though Max used fake accounts, Nowak finds one link to Max. They decide to go after him without police help. But when they get to the old building, Max and Elena are gone. Kaya and Nowak then team up with the police. Nowak tells a story about how Max and Elena fell in love when Max was her sales rep. Nowak feels bad for them, but Kaya says she's really 64 years old. She changed her age for her job and because she owes Sophie a lot. Max and Elena sneak onto a ship, but a camera catches them. Max checks on Sophie regularly, keeping her in a box that looks like cargo. That night, the couple dreams of their future family. But they soon see police lights. Max has a quick plan to use a family from the ship to help them escape. When the police check the cars leaving the ship, the family's dad is driving Max's van. He's scared and the police get suspicious. Through a hidden earpiece, Max tells the man to say he's scared because of the gun. The police leader sees the mistake and lets the man go. Then, the family's mom drives by with her baby, with Max hiding in the back, holding the child. The police don't suspect her and she drives away. The family meets up later, but Max breaks their phones and damages their car before leaving. Seeing the crying baby makes Elena feel sad. They continue driving with Sophie in the back. They stop so she can use a bucket. That's when she says she's not Sophie, but her daughter Marie. They look the same now since her mom changed her age. Max isn't convinced by Marie's words, so he looks up online. He finds out Sophie had a daughter who passed away long ago and was seen at her grave. Marie tells them she stayed hidden to avoid media focus, but Max isn't buying it and puts her back into the tub. Yet, Elena starts to question things. They later come across an old hotel and choose to stay there for the night. Marie, now free, says she's not Sophie and shares her disdain for her mother's controversial work, claiming she's on the side of Elena and Max. However, Elena and Max have a disagreement. Max argues that Marie's DNA would match Elena's because she's related to Sophie. The thought of Max wanting to exploit a young girl upsets Elena, and she walks away. As Marie shares about Sophie creating the age transfer technique, Max gives her privacy to change, but Marie sees an opening to knock him and flee. She sprints into a dark forest without phone reception. Spotting a following light, she rushes ahead but misjudges a pit for a shallow pool. Stuck, she screams, and Elena comes to her aid. Back in the hotel, after her shower, Elena realizes Marie lacks surgery scars, suggesting she's the real Marie. Max, however, believes the scars healed post-surgery, and emphasizes his wish for a family. He comforts Elena, and things get intimate, audible to Marie restrained nearby. Around the same time, Nowak informs Kaya about the duo's location. Hours later, armed men from the Atom Group interrupt Elena and Max's rest. Their leader, Lilith, identifies Marie's true identity. They're moved to a deserted place where Lilith unveils a secret. Sophie aimed to use Elena for her age transfer needs. Max was sent to facilitate this but ended up falling for Elena. In desperation, Sophie even orchestrated a disaster at their home. As Max calls Lilith a killer, she challenges Elena, handing her a gun to decide between her life or Marie's. Unable to choose, Elena drops the gun, prompting Lilith to comment on the human tendency to let others make hard choices. Max's secret phone soon buzzes with a covert clinic's location. To reach in time, they must confront Sophie. With Kaya's team encircling their hideout, Max negotiates to let only Sophie in, using Marie's safety as leverage. A rejuvenated Sophie agrees, but Kaya grows wary, wondering how Max knew Sophie's whereabouts. Recognizing it's a trap, Nowak suddenly pulls out his weapon and fires at Sophie, making her fall unconscious. Kaya quickly takes down Nowak. From inside, the Atom Group starts shooting at Sophie's crew. Max quickly moves into the hotel, but gets knocked down by a nearby explosion. After avoiding some guards, a rebel grabs him. They fight briefly, but Max gains the upper hand and overpowers the rebel. He then pulls Elena and Marie into the garage to make a getaway. As Max tries to get the car going, Marie shows she has a gun and aims it at Elena, but there's no ammo. Elena, upset that Marie would try to harm her after she showed mercy, reacts violently and makes Marie pass out by hitting her against the car. The three then speed off in the car. Kaya goes through Nowak's phone and learns he's been with the Atom Group from the start. Sometime later, Max says he doesn't want to harm Marie, fearing he'll turn into someone like Lilith. Elena, fed up, forces Max out of the car with a threat. After he's gone, Elena drives to a hidden clinic where Marie is taken against her will for a procedure. In the meantime, Max spots a bus of newcomers and ends up in a refugee camp. The next day, a truck driver finds Marie on a road and brings her to the city. There, she sees Sophie, who survived because she wore a bulletproof vest. Kaya decides to leave, saying she's done taking lives for money. As days pass, Marie starts aging faster. Sophie, thinking of herself, doesn't give any of her years to Marie, but says she'll find a donor. Months later, Max finds Elena at a beach. She appears young, is expecting, and has a new partner. She ignores Max when she sees him. Max returns to his new path, working with the Atom Group, aiming to defeat Sophie.